Hey friends, we are back with our last installment in Self-Discipline Month. So we have talked about what self-discipline is, what it isn't, what makes it hard for us sometimes. Why is it so hard to find that muscle and use it? And what are some strategies that we can use to help ourselves become more self-disciplined? And so this week I want to continue along that lines of what are some more strategies. So like you might know somebody who just makes it look so easy. They are really, they can get up and exercise. They are really good at resisting tempting foods. They have a really good concept of what it is that they want and are really good at just sort of methodically, moving through the little things that need to get done so that they can achieve their goal. And they've made that connection that self-discipline is really the gateway to achieving, your work goals, your personal goals, all of those things. And they've really figured out how to use self-discipline in their favor. But I guarantee you, it didn't start out that way. It's not like they were that good at it from the start. And probably, I think even people who are good at it are still refining their techniques. It really is, and I know I've said this over and over again, but it's like a muscle that we need to use. We need to flex. We need to give it some, practice so that it can do for us what we really need. But the thing is, so that it can actually become second nature for us. But the thing is that we have to try. We have to set ourselves up for success. We have to choose these little things that we can do so that we can get a feel for what self-discipline looks like in us, how it feels, what's triggering us, what's helping us move forward. All of those sorts of things are so important. So today we're going to talk about 3 more little strategies that can help us be more self-disciplined. Before we start, again, my name's Nancy Brooker. I am the Living in Yes coach for women who, feel overwhelmed by life's demands and are secretly just worried that they're not good enough. They don't feel like they're doing a good job at anything, but they're really ready to transform that voice inside their head, that inner critic, and to start embracing life. So they hire me to teach them how to, connect with themselves, so that connect with their self-worth, so that they can trust themselves and start rocking their relationships, stressing less, and really living in yes. So let's move on to these 3 final things that you can do. So number 1 is really all about setting active goals. Now, active goal setting is a really important skill, and it's different from passive goal setting. I think when we set passive goals, we have these outcomes, and they're sort of unclear, and we've kind of talked about this already. Like, we need to have clear goals, but not only that, you might have an outcome-based goal, like, I want to run a marathon. And that's an outcome that you want. I want to run it, on this date or whatever. You're being nice and specific. But there are all these little steps that we need to do along the way to get there. And oftentimes, that's actually a very specific goal. That's not a really vague goal that I gave you. So it's probably not the best example. But what I want you to understand is that once we have this outcome that we know we want to achieve, we really need to start looking at the behaviors, things we need to change, ways we need to feel, things we need to do, how we need to act in our lives to reach that goal. And so brainstorming, well, what kinds of changes could I make that might get me there? And of those ones, which ones seem reasonable that I might be able to do them, that they might be small enough steps that I can actually do some of these things to get myself towards that goal. There's a difference between something that's possible and something that's probable. And if it's not probable that you're going to do it, we need to change that into a probable behavior. It's something that you can do. Not that you're not going to move into the other ones too, but just to get you flexing that muscle, practicing, building your self-discipline, building your self-confidence, starting to understand how that feels in your body. Very, very important. So number one is to, set active goals and behaviors. Number two, I'm going to say, is to ignore the negativity, because there's a lot of people around you. Well, hopefully not a lot, but there's always going to be people around us that don't believe we can do the things we'd like to do, or we don't even want to bring it up because we know when we do, there might be a sneer, or there might be a harsh word, or like, oh, you're going to do that, or an expression, whatever it is, that sort of shuts us right down. We get really triggered by that. But we don't have to let that happen to ourselves. Now that's, where emotional freedom techniques are just excel at helping us really, feel not triggered. Like these things happen, and we're able to understand that it has nothing to do with us. It's that person, and or it has to do with things that have happened to us in the past that make us feel triggered, regardless of whatever that person says. Even they might not be negative. It might just be, we might just be interpreting it that way because of our past experiences. So there's a lot of self-exploration that we can do to help us, I guess, ignoring the negativity, letting it, letting it just wash, as opposed to, to internalizing it, that sort of thing. And remembering at the end of the day, there's, I love this concept of there's toxic people and there's tonic people. We have tonic people in our lives. A tonic is something that, it energizes and strengthens and rejuvenates you, right? And then there are sort of some toxic people in our life, and those are the ones that drain us and make us feel unworthy and maybe take advantage of us, or whatever that is. So really, look at the surrounding yourself with the tonic people, and trying to spend less time around some of the people that are triggering to you. But absolutely, that is something that with a little bit of coaching, you can really get past. So that's great. The last thing I want to say is to practice gratitude, because if we're going to be in a state of always focusing on what we don't have, there's that whole law of attraction thing, like attracts like, and if we're just focusing on, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, we're going to be attracting more if I don't have that either, and now I don't have that either. Whereas if we're becoming very aware and appreciative of what we do have, and coming from a place of abundance, it's easier to attract abundance into our lives. It's easier to be disciplined. It's easier to allow these remarkable shifts to happen in our lives, to be more disciplined with gratitude. Gratitude is an incredible, very research-based practice. Very well documented, the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual improvements that happen to us just by practicing gratitude. So, allow that into your life. Start thinking about what you do have and how appreciative you are of that, and then go back to those little steps that we talked about earlier, setting those little behavior goals, and looking at who we're surrounding ourselves with, and practicing our gratitude. So hopefully that helps. I'm just going to leave you with this quote from John C. Maxwell. Motivation gets you going, but self-discipline keeps you growing. And so it's very important. And, if that's something that, if you need some help flexing that self-discipline muscle, getting yourself on track with a goal, then let's chat. So thanks for listening today. Feel free to grab your freebies down below, how to, help your child with anxiety, 7 simple ways to de-stress, and ways to improve your communication skills. And if you have any comments or questions, just connect with me. I would love to talk to you. Come join me over at Living in Yes. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.